Welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is Seventh, currently pursuing my first year B in Sri Venkateswara College of Engineering, Bangalore, and in the course of cybersecurity. Now we are going to learn about the topic classes and methods. First, the introduction. What is class and what is objects? Class. Class is a user-defined blueprint or a prototype from which objects are created. Classes provide a means of bundling data and functionality together. Now let us look out the syntax of the class. Class definition. Class name and the statement. Object. An object is an instant of a class. Class is like a blueprint while an instance is a copy of the class with actual values. And the next is object oriented features. As the name suggests, object oriented programming or OOPS refers to the language that uses objects in the programming. Object oriented programming aims to implement real world entities like inheritance, hiding, polymorphism, etc. in the programming. The main aim of OOP is to bind together the data and the functions that operate on them so that no other part of the code can access this data except that function. Now let us look out the oriented features. Which are the types? What are the types? Firstly, a class. A class is a user-defined data type. It consists of data members and member functions, which can access and use by creating an instance of that class. It represents the set of properties or methods that are common to all the objects of one type. A class is like a blueprint for an object. Objects. It is a basic unit of object-oriented programming and represents the real-life entities. An object is an instant of a class. When a class is defined, no memory is allocated, but when it is instantiated, like an object is created, memory is allocated. An object has an identity, state, and behavior. And then the data abstraction. Data abstraction is one of the most essential and important features of the object oriented programming. Data abstraction refers to providing only essential information about the data to the outside world, hiding the background details or implementation. The next is encapsulation. Encapsulation is defined as the wrapping of data under a single unit. It is a mechanism that binds together code and the data it manipulates. Inheritance. Inheritance is an important pillar of the OOP. The capability of a class to derive properties and characteristics from another class is called as inheritance. When we write a class, we inherit properties of other classes. Polymorphism. The word polymorphism means having many forms. In simple words, we can define polymorphism as the ability of a message to be displayed in more than one form. Dynamic building. In dynamic building, the code to be executed in the response to the function call is decided at runtime. Dynamic binding means that the code associated with a given procedure call is not known until the time of call at a runtime. Now let us know about printing objects in Python. Printing object gives us information about the objects we are working with. In C++, we can do this by adding a friend or stream and an operator. In Java, we can use the string method. In Python, this can be achieved by using underscore REPR. Underscore REPR means string representation or str methods. String representation method is used if we need a detailed information for debugging, while str method is used to print a string version for the users. Now going with an example, first we have to define a class Python program to demonstrate object printing. Class test. Define initial values such as self a, comma b. Self.a is equal to a, self.b is equal to b. Then we have to define each variable that I have defined in the first. If define representation of self, return. First of we test a is to percentage of s, b is to percentage of s, and in the bracket self a comma self b. Define str bracket self. Return from str method of test is to a is in the percentage of s. And next the driver code. T is equal to test of 1, 2, 3, 4, comma 5, 6, 7, 8. This calls the str method. And then print t. This calls the representation method. It largely print t. The default init constructor in C++ and Java. Constructor are used to initializing the object state. The task of the constructor is to initialize the assigned values to the data members of a class when an object of a class is created. Like methods, a constructor also contains a collection of statements, such as instructions, that are executed at the time of object creation. It is run as soon as an object of a class is initiated. The method is useful to do any initialization you want to do with your object. The example for init method is a sample class with init method. Class person, init method or constructor. Define init in the bracket self comma name. Self dot name is equal to name. Sample method. Define say hi in the bracket self. Print hello, my name is comma self dot name. P is equal to person such as Nikhil. P dot say underscore hi. Now we are going to the str method. The Python str method returns a string representation of the object on which it is called. For example, if you call print of x, an object x, Python internally calls x. Str method to determine the string representation of an object x. This method is also used for implement the built-in str function. Thanks for watching. Please do like and subscribe.